We kicked off today's show with really fun activities to get the whole family involved in summer fun. Family-friendly activities that bring everyone, all ages, all stages together. But sometimes, despite their best efforts, families struggle to find things Grandma and Grandpa can enjoy along with the younger crowd. So we're pulling back in Studio 5 relationship coach Dr. Matt Townsend for his take on ways to get the older generation involved in family activities. And we have to give credit to one of our viewers who wrote in with this very situation saying, my parents are coming into town later this month. So now this idea, we have the activities laid out, but now the challenge to actually get people activated.
Right, like, so notice there's an inherent thought behind it, like, well, can we? Is it possible to get these old people moving again and to get them involved? And how do you get them involved? And so one of the coolest things about it is, as a grandparent now.
Yes, you're speaking from the other side.
Push them.
Okay.
Push them. Because grandparents might naturally sit it out, but we need to push them. We need to keep them understanding that they need to stay integrated into the family. So when I say push them, I don't actually literally mean push them.
Like don't push them in the Linden pool.
Yeah, they could. That's going to hurt somebody. Okay. But I want you to actually allow them to stretch their own wings a little bit. And so that might mean you might need to be a little pushier. One thing I would highly suggest is understand their abilities, their time frame, what they can do, what they can't do. But just one of the most important things ever is they have a lot of character traits, things that you love, strengths that you think are incredible, which is why you want them involved. So go in and find the specific thing you want your parents to be teaching your kid and tie that to an activity. If you want your kid, like, just fun, like you might have a grandpa that's just fun, he's just funny, or he plays really great music, then make sure that Grandpa brings his guitar when we get together. Or if you like the work ethic of one of them, then have your parents take those kids out for a day and teach them just how to work in the yard with you.
At the end of the day, does the activity really matter? No. I mean, you can really do what you're saying, push them and pull them in any situation. The lesson is there's some reason you want them and something you want them to get from Grandma and Grandpa. Make sure you know what it is you want to get out of it before you even have to choose an activity. I would say literally everything you would do with just your family, you can do with Grandma and Grandpa. You just might have to make a few accommodations, but make sure you invite them and push them and make them kind of extend themselves too. Also, I would get very real about don't assume what they can do and they can't do. And honestly, I wouldn't, I think it would be the neatest thing in the world to maybe sleep out in a tent with my grandkids. That would be super cool. Now, it's hard to get up and down, so you might want to get them a nice place to sleep, but push them like that and say, hey, the kids really want to sleep with you in a tent. And you might even introduce the idea to the kids before you introduce it to the grandparents. Right. And they may not like it at first, and say, we just knew you'd do it because you care for your grandkids. Well, once the grandkids are involved and they're asking, then it changes the dynamic.
And they want to. It's just a lot of times I think we think,
Yeah, I've come to realize, and I realized it in the moment, but more so the older I get, how unique and special my relationship with my grandparents were. They were involved in everything. And so at every dance recital, they were looking for ways to hang out with us. And do you find that relationship between grandkid, grandparent is becoming less of a priority these days?
Well, in a weird way, there's just so many other options for things to do. And there's so many things that our kids are doing. So it might actually just feel like they're less because our kids are doing so many things. So if you have a lot of grandkids, you probably can't get to all of them. Sure. So it might feel that way. But I don't think their desire is any different. But I also think some things are more and more intimidating. And I think the older we get, it gets a little more difficult to get them there. I mean, we've had relatives that just getting them to an event is a lot of work and a lot of effort. So then you might think, let's just not invite them. Instead, let's just invite them to something easier. Sure. But this thing is, you miss out on the adventure of everybody even getting Grandma or Grandpa to their seat at some event. So be careful, because in the end, if we don't invite them, or if we're not making the space for them to be in the room and in the place with us, then eventually that space will be filled with something, and we won't even remember the space was there anymore. So make sure there's always the space. Okay. In our lives, in our time, in our world, and in our car to take Grandma and Grandpa.
Always the car. Thank you so much. Let us know how that backyard camp out goes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'll let you know.
With Claire.
That'd be great.
All right.